Alright, class, please take your seats. We're about to start another review of Ruby Spears Mega Man. Today's episode is Campus Commandos. Please turn to page 35 of your books and let's begin.
Welcome, Twitch.
Hello again, I'm happy to be here.
Yes, our teacher for the day.
Yes. I'm Maria.
You guys humble me.
We also have Jonathan.
I'm here. I did it.
Present.
Yeah, there we go. And once again, our instructor for the day, Twitch from Reploid REVO. Thank you for coming.
Of course, I'm happy to be here.
Let's just get into it because this episode was a lot different than I expected because you told me that you kept talking about this episode and I was like, okay, it's probably going to be a good one.
I've never seen this episode, so this for me was just new, and my immediate thought was Dr. Wily must be super lonely because he built a school.
You mean Dr. Light?
Oh, sorry.
Ooh,
Dr. Light.
Hit the botch.
My bad. Dr. Light. Well, actually, they're both kind of lonely, but anyway,
That's true.
Dr. Light built a university for robots, and then built student robots to attend this Robo University. What?
You know,
I don't understand. Why was there a need for that?
Did he explicitly say that he's the one who built them? I don't remember.
Yeah, he was like, my
I'm not
Robo
even
students.
Sure. Oh yeah. Oh,
I built you to learn more about Robo kind, and I don't know what else. I was like,
I missed that.
You'd think he could have just skipped the middleman and programmed him with all the knowledge.
Well, that was one of my questions. Is all of these robots are here to learn how to do things, but I'm like, why aren't they just built with those skills? Because in one episode, someone is like, "Hey, Mega Man, when did you get your license or something?" And Mega Man's like, "Oh, don't you know all robots are pre-built with a license? We already know how to drive. It's programmed into us."
Yeah.
So why does the fighter robot need to learn how to fight? I don't know. If anything, the football player robots know how to play football already. So I guess that's true. But then why are they there?
Well, maybe. Well, they got scholarships, of course. But maybe the Kung Fu bot was he was invented to be like a gardening bot, but he didn't want to do that, so now he's going to school to change his life.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm so confused by the premise of these. I like them because it's cool seeing robots built for different functions.
Oh yeah.
The football bots, I actually kind of really like their design and their uniforms. I think it's cool that their torsos are football shaped. They kind of remind me of airman types, how they have a really wide torso, but their head is sunken into the torso. That's cool.
They look more like Airman than Airman did in Ruby Spears.
Yes, that is true.
Shark Airman. He pretty much looked like a shark.
Yeah,
he
Airman was a hoot and a half. He was really weird. He was the most violent out of all of them, I think, on his looks.
Sure. I like how Light made this university, and he just called it Light University. He's like, they'll all know my name.
Well, to be fair, that is typically the naming convention for universities, isn't it? So I guess that is the least far-fetched thing out of this whole episode.
He built all the people in it. He's like, you're gonna know who did this.
He built all 12 people who attend his entire university. That's a thing. Let's actually go and let's break down the robot. So it opens up with Mega Man going to the university as Dr. Light unveils it to the world. And Mega Man's on campus with Roll, and he's meeting all the other students. All 12 of them. Most of which are just football players.
I was about to say, it's the football team and a couple.
Yeah, it's the football team. I don't know how many they had in the episode, per se. I'm going to assume, let's say it's a full team of football players. 2 teams of football players, actually. A bunch of cheerleader bots. I think there was 5 or 6 of them, and they're all voiced by Roll with a weird Southern Belle kind of accent mixed in.
Yeah, and they don't have hands.
They don't have hands. They suffer from Crashman syndrome. They don't have hands, and they have pom-poms installed in their arms that they fire off, which at first is a neat concept until you realize they have no way of catching them afterwards.
Yeah.
So football players, cheerleading robots, otherwise known as cheerbots, that are just voiced by Roll, who strangely look like Chi-Chi from Dragon Ball Z. Then there's an artist bot, he talks kind of like Bob Ross. If Bob Ross was somehow like, if they made like a really effeminate Bob Ross, that's what he sounds like. And all he wants to do is paint, and he has like a paintbrush in his arm, which is kind of weird because I'm like, you must have terrible brush control. Like, wouldn't your strokes be really broad if you're using nothing but your forearm? And then there's Kung Fu Bot, right? Is he Kung Fu Bot or Karate Bot? Because he calls himself, or he gets called Kung Fu Bot, but he says that he does karate, and he's dressed like someone who does karate. In fact, he looks like the dude from Virtua Fighter.
That's the thing I told you I was checking.
Oh, okay, so
Just Virtua Fighter.
Yeah, he looks like the guy from Virtua Fighter, whose name I can't remember. That had to have been on purpose.
It had to. Yeah, it was like, just like how he's
Very
all flat
square,
and polygonal.
angular.
Yeah.
He has like the same haircut.
Yeah, but yeah, his name, like, Mega Man calls him Kung Fu Bot, because I originally had Karate Bot written down, and then near the end of the episode he calls him Kung Fu, and then I just scribble it out and change it because I wanted to be correct.
And that's what's weird is that that's kind of like the Karate Kid, the movie, the original, suffers from that. They call it what do they say? They call it the Karate Kid, but he does Kung Fu. And I'm like,
I guess Kung Fu Kid doesn't have as good of a ring.
I guess not, but I mean, like, at least be accurate. I'm still annoyed that when they did the Karate Kid, I don't know if you'd call it a reboot or whatever, the one with what was it, Jaden Smith before he became a weirdo on Twitter. That was a great movie, actually. I really liked it, and it was a really big missed opportunity to call this one Kung Fu Kid.
Gotta go with the brand recognition.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, I know why they did it, but as a Karate Kid fan, I don't know.
Yeah. Speaking of Karate Kids, Snake Man just keeps losing his glove. Like, he's drawn without his glove more than he's drawn with it in this episode. And other characters keep losing their gloves, but it's constantly Snake Man. Like, he's a problem.
Also, Gutsman, I don't know if he lost his pants or what, but in one scene, he has red legs, like his thighs, so, like, it's his weight. No, I guess he put his pants on, I don't know. So he has, like, the red underwear thing, red thighs, and then red, like, legs. And I'm like, what happened? What is this? The animation of this episode, it was decent. It wasn't the best the show has to offer. Some sequences were really good, but I feel like they blew their budget, and I think I can spot the places where. So, spoiler alert, Top Man shows up, and later when he does his top spin, he stands, like, vertically, like in a pencil position, and he doesn't put his arms out like you would expect, which is what Top Man does. And I feel the reason why they did that is because you could draw less frames where he's got his arms at his sides and like fudge it out with like motion blur or like smears. Versus if his arms are out, you're gonna notice they're moving, and in order to convey the idea of motion better for a rotation for something that's like wider like that, you need to draw more frames. So they just put him like that in a pencil stance, so that when you spin him around really fast, you can kind of like fudge it and like you won't notice. And then also, again, spoiler alert, there's a section where Mega Man goes into stealth mode and they just don't color him in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
he's
I'm like,
just lying.
Is that like to save on animation again? Like, you know, because
he is in stealth mode.
Yeah,
they had a cool fight scene.
You know, like you know how Wonder Woman goes invisible? She does.
The invisible jet?
Yeah.
Mega Man is the invisible jet.
Oh,
Same
I knew
thing.
it. Well, there were some parts of this episode that just looked like straight up hot garbo. Like when Mega Man is flying on Rush the first time, like it's just one shot of fire coming out of Rush. It doesn't animate or anything, and he just like tweens across the screen. I'm like, come on, I can do that. But it was funny.
Yeah, I mean,
that and all the color errors kind of gave this episode a charm.
Yeah.
Also, I wasn't expecting Top Man to be like this suave
Oh
guy.
my god, yes!
And that
like,
voice.
like, hey babe, like you're the hottest robo thing. And then
What'd you call him? Cowboy Dr. Light?
yeah, pretty much like Rico Suave, Dr. Light, and Top Man or something.
What?
Also, Roll is really pretty in this episode. Like she's just drawn super
Roll is
beautiful.
always pretty. I'm sorry, she is always beautiful.
Well, she's drawn exceptionally pretty in this episode.
Exceptionally pretty. I
I think
agree.
that's where the budget went.
Yeah, just making her pretty face.
It's in her contract. She has to look great.
Yeah. Oh, Top Man is also called Toppy. Like that's.
Oh my
the
god. Yeah. So let's go
call me
back on
Top
track.
That's
Mega
weird.
Man meets all the student robots, and then Top Man shows up and he like Roll drops a book or something, and he's like, oh man, I have the pleasure of handing back a book to the most beautiful bot on campus. I'm like, whoa, Top Man, getting some creepy vibes right now. And then
Yeah, she doesn't even know you.
yeah,
It was
She doesn't even go here.
but it
it was
worked.
It was the ID that he picked up,
Yeah,
so he
'cause-
could copy it behind his
He,
back.
he
Yeah,
copies
'cause,
her ID, which was cool. I did like that. You know, that's how they get into the campus. That was
Yeah,
clever.
it was smart.
But I
There's
didn't think they needed to like have him hit on Roll. That was really awkward because
I think he did that like on his own. He went off script.
yeah, it's like gross '90s flirting too. It's like not even good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he goes, the name's Top Man, but you can call me Toppy. And I'm like, oh, that's not even a cool name. I like Top Man better.
Ah.
You could call me anytime.
Oh yeah. And then Roll pulls that line, and I'm just like, Roll, you are thirsty. Go get yourself a glass of Robo water. Or something.
Yeah.
She must have been infatuated with Top Man's big, beautiful eyes.
They were big. And
Yeah, he's
beautiful.
like doesn't look humanoid at all, except for like if you look at him, he's got like the big Robot Master eyes, and it's so weird. Ugh.
Season 2, like, I think every Robot Master that was introduced in Season 2 doesn't really get the Ruby Spears treatment as much.
Yeah, I wonder why they did that.
Like, I don't know. It was either time constraints, or it was just... People don't like the muscles, but we can't backpedal too much.
Yeah, we've already solidified this as how it's gonna be.
Yeah. Or maybe, you know, it's just, Dr. Wily's changing with the times. He's like, you know, people are getting creeped out that these robots look like them, but wearing a suit. Give them big googly anime eyes.
Yeah.
Big googly anime eyes. You gotta shake them.
Shake 'em.
Shake them to make them work. So, moving right along, after Roll is infatuated, the robots are trying to figure out what they're going to do while they're at school, and that's where Kung Fu Bot is like, with his extremely racist accent, he's like, "I'm going to learn how to fight," and I'm like, stop.
Yeah, I don't understand why they had to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to
They
emphasize.
could have just made him sound normal.
Yeah.
Dr. Light doesn't know any better, and he built him that way.
He's an
Dr.
old man
came
who's
from a different
lonely
time.
and has no lack of social awareness.
Dr.
Dr. Light! Yes! Yes!
I mean, you're not wrong. That's
Like, why build a school for robots and then make
Still
robots
on
for
that.
students? I don't understand.
Yeah, because like you hear the name, and it's like, oh, it's gonna teach people
Yeah,
how
I
to
thought he was
build
gonna teach
robots.
people.
But no,
He wanted just robot people.
he was so bored. He had a weekend to kill, and he's like, man, I want to be a principal or something. I got it.
And he probably, the poor guy thinks like humans are so hard to interact with. Robots is all he knows, so that's all he makes.
I mean, you're
I'm
not
sad.
wrong. All of this is 100% accurate. I mean, I guess the intention, at least from what I can tell, is that this is like a test run, and I'm assuming other robots are supposed to come here to learn, you know, different skills or whatever.
Yeah.
Which fine, but like it's like you said, why build robots to attend? the university could be useful if other robots could learn new skills while they're there, but it wouldn't make any sense to take a robot who's built for one thing and one thing only, and then have him go to the university to test it. And like, I guess the cool premise, like with Kung Fu Bot, is that he's like, I'm learning to be a fighter bot just like you, so I can like stop crime. So I'm like, that's interesting that there'd be like a course in this university for teaching robots how to like protect people. Like, that's kind of an interesting concept. But again, I just fall back on, well, then why didn't you just make a robot who could do that?
I think the whole reason that especially Kung Fu Bot was built not being able to do anything is because Light knows that Wily's just going to take him over before 22 minutes is up. And he comes in and he takes almost everyone over.
Yes.
And the way they do it is the stupidest thing, but I loved it because they put control chips in the Robo dessert, and everyone ate it.
Yes. Everyone took the Kool-Aid and was under control of Dr. Wily, except for the 4 robots that Rush managed to jump in front of and, like, Mission Impossible style, block them with his paws.
All 4 paws in front of their mouths.
At one point, he's just holding himself up with his back feet.
Yeah, how?
Because he's covering his mouth, but he's just staying like flat in the air. He's got Michael Jackson moves, kind of, doing the lean.
If this is supposed to be a university, and actually, you know what? I take that back. Dr. Light was teaching a class on anti-gravity. Maybe Rush was taking notes.
That's true. I bet he did.
Yeah, throughout the episode, Dr. Light... I mean, this is cool consistency, but throughout the episode, Dr. Light keeps mentioning how he's going to build an anti-gravity machine, he's going to teach a lesson on how the anti-gravity machine works, that he's going to teach students how to build it. So it was cool to see him talk about this, like, in the background, and then it comes into play later. So that was cool, that they had that little bit of cohesiveness to everything.
It was the main story.
But yeah, and, I don't remember how this happened, because I missed it. It must have been like a blink and you miss it moment, but Mega Man's Buster, gets fried, and it doesn't work anymore. And then he gets tied to, like, a set of gears. I forget what the gears were for, but they were gonna crush, Mega Man and roll into gears. And then Mega Man's like, I can't use my Buster to blast my way out of here, it just keeps short-circuiting. He's like, wait, that's it. So he goes to fire his Buster, it sparks, and the ropes just spontaneously explode off of him.
Yeah!
Yes,
he escapes.
And then he just jumps out the window instead of saving everybody.
He jumps out the window, changes the time on the clock, and then somehow the gears just magically stop. One, how did he know how to stop the clock at a certain time? And then 2, why didn't he just, like, short-circuit the other ropes?
The same way...
all that cockamamie
the
stuff.
same way he knew to shove Dr. Light into a time machine and send it 1 minute into the future.
It's all coming back.
Hold on, we can just think that fast.
That's true. Well, we skipped a very important part because before Mega Man gets caught, the football players are playing, and then they're doing they're doing the numbers before the hike. It's like 3.14. E equals MC squared. Hike.
Yeah.
And
that was so good.
It was so dumb, and I loved it.
So
then the bad guys show up, and then they're all fighting, and then who is it? It's a Kung Fu Bot that gets fly swatted into the ground.
Yeah.
Gutsman picks up.
He's like, you
up
better
a
watch yourself. I know
slams.
karate, and then Gutsman just fly swatters him with like a basketball hoop.
Yes, that's how I wrote it in the note.
So funny.
I said, Karate Bot fly swatted into ground.
That's your
It was
notes.
so good. So
hilarious.
So this episode turns into Wily wanting to steal the anti-gravity machine. I don't even know if he knew that was a thing before he broke in.
How would he know that Light was doing a lesson on an anti-gravity? Oh, he had Top Man sneak into the university.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, but wait a minute. How would Top Man know about that? Wouldn't Light be like, I don't remember inviting this robot to my university?
Oh, come on in. Everybody needs light knowledge.
I mean, not for nothing, Light was really wholesome in this episode. Like, when the football player bots walk in, or the tackle bots, I guess, and he's like, my students are early. No, that is a sign of a productive student, or whatever. I'm like, wow, Light, you're just so naive. But it made me really happy to see him, like, happy to have students. It kind of makes me wish that we could get more scenes of Dr. Light just teaching classes or just being like a dad, either in the games or in any media. He's just such a good person.
You kind of see that loneliness again come out. He's like, oh, I have something to do with my life. I can teach my knowledge to these robots.
Wow, you're taking like the bleakest approach to Dr. Light, and I love it. So lonely.
you know, I've got a very fundamental question about this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Why does Wily need an anti-gravity machine when he has Gravity Man?
Maybe he didn't build. Oh, did he build
Gravity Man? It was in an episode. I'm gonna check the list and see if it came before this one.
Well, maybe Gravity Man couldn't steal City. Oh, that, you know what? That's another thing I had a problem with. So
yes, it was before this one.
So let's go over Dr. Wily's plan. All right. So his plan is to sneak an agent, Top Man, otherwise known as Toppy, into the university. I'm just gonna call him Toppy for the rest of the episode, and I'll just let you feel how awkward it is to hear it. So he sneaks Toppy into the university, who gets the other robots into the university, so they can steal an anti-gravity machine. And then Wily's plan is to steal City Hall using the anti-gravity machine, and this will somehow give him control over the entire city. This is not an online game. We're not playing Team Fortress or I don't know, what do kids play these days? You don't just capture a control point like City Hall and then you own the city. It doesn't work like that. It's
not that it's a control point. I think that Wily would just like, I'm gonna drop this guy. You better do what I say. I'm gonna drop him. You know, like it turns out to be
that
just
makes more sense. He's holding it ransom.
Yeah. But okay, so Mega Man gets like super defeated and Light is pretty much like, he's dead. You know, he's not coming back. And then they're like, oh, why don't we just use Eddie? And he's like, oh, that's genius. Rush, go get Eddie. And instead of going, Rush dances around for a few minutes.
And he like sings some sort of Scooby-Doo sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. But then, okay, Eddie gets there, and then like it's a faraway shot, and Eddie is just drawn as a Met. Like he's a green Met. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh,
it's gonna be on the screen.
He's literally like a green Metul?
Yes.
Yeah, he is. He has the stripes, the helmet, and the little cross on it too.
Wait, hold on. But Doc, the Metul, wasn't used in anything after the first episode.
Right.
So why would Eddie be a green? Do they just mix up who they are?
They probably got
no
confused
idea.
Or something.
But then, you know, it goes to the close-up, and then it's just Eddie. You know?
Yeah, I don't... That's weird. You are
right,
it
is
though,
really weird.
Like, where he's just like, oh yeah, just get Eddie, that's genius. And I'm like... He's like, oh, Mega Man's power core impulse is really low. There's barely anything there. It might be too late to save him. And then they just get Eddie, he drinks some energy, and then he's back to normal. And I'm like, wait... What? Like, hold on. If he's that badly damaged, I would assume all that energy doesn't have anywhere to go, because, like, it sounds like something fundamental to him is broken, and it's just, like, nice low on energy.
That's why, after Mega Man drinks it, Eddie starts jumping up and down on his crotch. And then it brings him back.
That would wake me up, too.
Yeah, for sure. I've been headbutting my sleep, and that brings me back. And it also makes me really angry.
Don't remind me.
You'll never live it down.
You will never forget this story. Anyway.
I'm not going to try to figure out the logistics of how you got headbutted in the crotch in your sleep, but we'll just assume...
no, it wasn't in the crotch, thankfully.
Okay, so I feel a little bit better now.
Yeah, I was right in the middle of the forehead. But anyway.
Well, okay, I think it's funny that Dr. Light couldn't fix Mega Man, but Eddie could. Like, he just, here's some plasma, oh, you just need a jump start, and he just jumps on him, and then, bam.
Well, you know, this show, like, it's revealing a lot of truths to me. Roll is the strongest character, and apparently Rush is the smartest.
Okay.
Because he was like, yeah, give him some plasma power.
I don't know why that's not their first, like, that should be their go-to.
You'd think, like, Light would have a backpack full.
Get Eddie, like, that's all you need to do. And if Eddie doesn't work, then you can build tension in the episode, like, oh no, you know, Eddie didn't work. Mega Man's power, you know, and you got to come up with some kooky solution to how to get Mega Man working again. You can't just be like, oh, Mega Man's dead, everyone, and then just call Eddie and give him a Red Bull and he's fine. Like,
yeah.
Jeez.
So, Mega Man gets back on the battlefield, and like, I don't really remember what happens, but Cutman gets defeated, and then Mega Man gets trapped under something. And he's like, "Oh no, my Buster's broken again."
Oh yeah.
And then
he didn't have enough plasma power to use it.
Right. And then Rush, being the good boy that he is, just brings his owner a dead body and places it in front of him.
So he can place his hand on it, copy the power, and then shoot something off of a pole to hit Gutsman in the face.
Yeah, he like cut the pole down, but it's just the fact that he's like, "Here's a dead body. Did I do good?"
I mean, that's what dogs do, right?
It's
true. They bring their prey.
Yeah, cats do.
Another thing that was interesting about that scene is when he copies Cutman. He doesn't just copy Cutman in the typical way. They like animated it by hand. The thing going to his head, and it wasn't the normal schematic that goes into his head. It was like a different.
Oh no! It looked really simple. Like, it was very simple looking.
It's so weird. Like, why? What was that?
I have no idea. I wrote that down too. I just put it was the laziest looking weapon yet.
Better than that Cutsman monkey face thing.
That one was great. It was another episode where he copied Cutman in the same way. You know, he placed his hand on his head, and then it did the schematic of Cutman's head. Mm-hmm. And that was so cool. And then this time it was just like a few circles. You saw the one with Cutman's head? What's that?
You saw the one where it copied Cutman's head?
Yes.
Oh, see, I told you that was going to happen. That was so weird, right? Like, why?
It was amazing. I loved it.
It just looked like he was copying a monkey's face, because he's got a monkey face.
Yeah, he does.
It's round, he's got the ears.
He's got those big going bananas ears.
I never thought of it like that. I guess that's one way of looking at it.
It was so good. But, the stealth suit returns in this episode.
It does?
Yeah, the save-on coloring suit.
Yeah. Did you see that Roll was wearing the glider for a while?
Yeah, that was kind of cool, that she got to use some of Mega Man's gear. Like, they're cool with, you know, sharing. And then a second later, Mega Man gets it. And then he saves the animation budget by going into line art mode.
So, something that happened after the line art, it showed Wily, and he was, like, super happy about his plan. And his face, I swear, it was Mega Man's face drawn onto Wily. Like, he had the dark eyebrows, and he had the eyes that looked like Mega Man's.
Really?
Like, did you see this?
I didn't catch that. You're gonna have to, like, show me a snapshot later.
It will definitely be on the screen right now, and I'll send it to you in just, in just a bit. But it was kind of nutty.
This episode is kind of nutty.
Oh, okay, I found it. Go to 2212 in the episode.
Alright, hold on. Oh my gosh. That is so weird. That he had black eyebrows, blue eyes. What?
Yeah, like he got some sort of surgical procedure done to make him look younger because he's got a hot date.
Yeah, a hot date with Top Man, maybe.
With Toppy.
Toppy. That was so weird. What was that all about? It's only for like that one scene.
Yeah, it's only for that close-up.
That is really strange. I can't even explain what the hell's happening. This whole episode is just really, really weird.
It is.
Oh, one more thing before we get too far ahead. So that's where that's later on in the episode, right? I think where Wily is stealing City Hall. But before he does that, I just wanted to point out, because this is a funny detail. Gutsman is trying to intimidate a bunch of student scientist robots into building the gravity machine.
Oh, yes.
They are all eggheads. They all have white egg-shaped heads.
Yes!
It was so stupid. I'm like, really? That's the joke you went for? And it's so subtle. Like, no one would get that unless, like, you're an adult. Because a kid would just be like, those are some weird-looking robots. But, like...
Look at those nerds.
Oh, my God.
I like that, like, they were as big as his hand. Like, he just grabbed, like, the proportion ratio wasn't very good.
Yeah, it wasn't. I literally thought he was going to crush his head.
Oh man.
And then he throws them into like a big gruesome pile of other robots. That was nasty.
He's killed like 50 students.
Yeah, it was so weird.
But it's weird because the first one that it shows, he's like, let me show you what happens to people who don't do their job right or whatever. But he's already done that to like, at least 30 guys.
There's more, he killed more eggheads than there are students attending the school. Like, what is happening? Oh, and another thing. I think in the same laboratory scene, Snake Man goes to shoot his Search Snake at Mega Man, and Mega Man pulls a pipe off the wall and does the same thing he did in Mega X. The snake goes in through the pipe, gets redirected, and hits Snake Man, who then lost his glove from the shock. And then
Snake Man never learns.
He never.
There was also a point where his face was just completely colored white.
What?
Yeah, like you saw ghosts.
Snake Man just can't catch a break.
He really can't. Snake Man he's the mess.
That's putting it mildly.
Snake Man, go home. You're drunk.
Snake Man, go home. You're Snake Man.
Snake Man, go home. You're sick. Your face is white. You look like you saw a ghost.
It was like because like the color of it was the same color his hand was supposed to be. So the one time they draw his glove on there, they also color his face white.
Yeah, it was so like, did someone just not get the memo? Like they saw it. They draw his hand like tan colored, and they're like, no, his skin is supposed to be white. Oh, okay. And so they make a note of it, and then the next day they come in, they just see a note that says, Snake Man's skin is white, and they just bucket tool his face to be white. Well, if you say so, like,
It looks weird, but alright.
Yeah, I don't know. They don't pay me enough to ask questions. It was so strange. So I believe a fight ensues for Mega Man to start chasing Wily, and like some of the robots get to show off their stuff. Like, the cheerbots, I think when he's going into the laboratory, the cheerbots distract the football bots, and then they just chase them away. And then they stop chasing the cheerbots and go to beat up Mega Man, who's apparently standing next to a wall, but it turns out it was a painting painted by the artist bot. And I'm like, how dumb are these robots? They didn't notice that. And here's the other funny thing. When he's painting and they're showing you from like an above shot, Mega Man's in 3D. Like he's
a really good painter.
His feet stick out onto the grass, even though he's supposed to be a flat image on a wall. But whatever, okay. And then Kung Fu Bot, in a complete, act of crossover animation, decides he's gonna do a Street Fighter Hurricane kick and knocks down a tree. He did the same thing Top Man did. He stands like a pencil, except he stuck his foot up this time. And then he spins around like an idiot and then hits a tree, and it kicks the tree down. Which, I mean, when I was a kid, I was just like, oh, that's the thing from Street Fighter. I know that. That must be what the joke is, because they were both made by the same company. Which I feel that had to have been a reference or something.
Yeah.
And I like how Mega Man afterwards is like, yay, you beat Cutman! And I'm like, everybody can beat Cutman.
Now that you mention it.
Like, yeah, you did it, even though that wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. In that same sequence, I don't remember exactly what happened, but Snake Man is about to blast Mega Man or something. And then, I don't know, Mega Man's like, yeah, well, get a load of this. And he shoots a thing, and a globe, like a massive stone globe, just crushes Snake Man in like 2 frames.
There's nothing left.
It's
he's just like,
boom!
He's inside the ground, I guess.
Like,
or you just need to exist.
Imagine the sound of dropping a bowling ball on like an ant. That was Snake Man. It was just, poof! There was nothing left. No explosion. No, comedically timed body parts flying out from under. Nothing. Just wham, and there was nothing left. He got annihilated. It was amazing. There's no coming back from that.
I really hope Snake Man is not in any more episodes, so that is canon.
So that it's canon. Ruby Spear is canon. We're getting into some weird territory now. Also in the same thing, Gutsman picks up a wooden box, and it sparks when he picks it up for some reason.
It also makes a metal clang when he throws it at Mega Man.
Yeah, but it was...
that's where the dead body delivery comes from.
Yeah, that's what ended up happening. I think he was stuck underneath the wooden box that sparks and sounds like metal. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but okay, and then that's where the Cutman thing comes in, and it's so weird. And I just have a note to this after the weird hand-drawn Cutman schematic they used instead of the usual one. It just says Topman is so stupid. he does this thing where he starts spinning and then roll like crane games him with like a plunger or something, and lives.
Was that when she was using the plumber snake, or is that different?
No, this is different. She's like, I got you, and now I'm gonna dump you like you dumped me, and then she like. He's still spinning, right, while she's pulling him up. And which one doesn't make any sense to me, because she would also be spinning. But okay, and so she drops him, and he like pinballs everywhere throughout the campus. And then he lands in like a fountain, which I don't think Topman would be dizzy, because he's Topman.
His power is to spin?
He's made to be spinning all the time, and so like you see him kind of like in the water, but you don't see him like obviously like hurt or anything, because it's Topman. Like,
that's how I feel about Topman. Excuse me,
he
Toppy.
Is the Topman.
That's how I feel about Toppy.
Toppy.
I'm not gonna lie, when he fell into the fountain, I was half expecting Pharaohman to come up and just be like, you two. Like
yeah, like Pharaohman must have just been hiding out at campus out of embarrassment. He'd just been there the whole time. It's kind of like, like when the nerd gets shoved into the locker.
Yeah.
The Pharaoh gets shoved into the fountain.
Exactly. And he's like, I was waiting here for my chance to strike at Mega Man. Too bad he's taken to the skies in his stealth suit.
No! Okay, so Mega Man's flying around in the stealth suit, and Wily's just so happy to be carrying this building, and Mega Man catches up to Wily, and Wily's just so happy to be carrying this building, and he just like so easily just barely cuts it, and it's somehow carrying the whole thing away.
Yeah, Mega Man flies away on the anti-gravity machine.
Yeah, Mega Man just swipes it and leaves.
And his genuine like, yes, I did it, I can't believe it. And then he sees Mega Man up ahead like, Mega Man! Like, what is it? Beaver? That's so funny.
It was so weird that the machine itself can... If the machine can fly, why did Wily need to tether it to the Skulker?
So he was in control.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense, I think. Yeah, so Mega Man flies City Hall to a safe location, I presume. I don't know. I don't know how he landed it. Like, did he just put it back where it belongs? Like, I don't know if you people know this, but like buildings don't just come off the ground like that. Like, they are.
Yeah, no,
there's foundation.
Plumbing.
They're like part of the ground when you're done with it. If you lift it, the most you could do is probably lift every floor above the first floor, because you would just separate the walls. But the first floor of every building is like cemented into the ground. So how did he get the whole building cleanly, and does Mega Man just put it back now? Because
cartoons, it don't need to make no sense.
I was gonna say the same way that they shrunk a city and just put a piece of glass under it and everything was okay.
Slid a piece of glass under it without somehow destroying everything in the city due to the massive seismic activity.
That was hilarious.
This cartoon defies all reason, and I'm not sure if I'm okay with it, but I am entertained by it.
Yeah, entertaining for sure.
It was weird. So, I did want to point out the fight with Mega Man and Proto Man in the sky was actually really cool.
That was cool, yeah. Proto Man has a jetpack.
Yeah, Proto Man gets a jetpack, and he fights Mega Man in the air, and like the movement is cool, the city whooshing by is really cool, but this is why I think they invented stealth mode, to save on the animation, because it's like, well, if we could just color in one character, we won't have to do it for every other frame. And it's a shame, because like the fight choreography was really cool, seeing them zipping around and shooting each other and doing this and that or whatever, but you can't see Mega Man, so I'm like, what am I looking at here? But it was cool.
I like how they kind of described it, that Proto Man had like stealth-seeking goggles.
Yeah.
But the goggles just looked like he had big old googly eyes.
Googly eyes.
He had like binocular eyes or something.
I like how they're not googly, they're googly.
I remembered I used googly earlier, some of these are googly.
Googly
different.
eyes. I mean, you're not wrong. He's got
They
the.
Google.
You know whose goggles those are? Do you guys ever remember the old Disney film Atlantis?
Oh
There's
yeah.
the old guy who has goggles just like that.
So that's where he got him.
That's where he got him from. Dr. Wily is in cahoots with the mole guy, and he gets this technology from him. So not only can Proto Man
Knew it.
detect Mega Man in stealth mode, but he can also identify many different kinds of rocks and sediments.
Well, I mean, maybe Wily was the good guy all along. I doubt it.
How? In what way?
I don't know. I'm sleepy. I'm sorry. I'm trying.
This episode is the kind of thing I would expect someone to have in like a dream when they're really tired. Like, you're gonna be dreaming of this episode, and it'll make perfect sense to you in the morning.
Yeah.
One last thing I guess I wanted to touch on is the ending for this episode. Again, because of season 2, instead of doing the super fighting robot ending, they just play a random song, and this song was so not fitting. It's like an ending for a completely different show. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Something about sailors. No, the ending of this song is used twice because
Yeah, we've heard it twice so far.
Because
okay.
I remember hearing it in another episode, and I was like, "What? That should have been in the episode before," because it was about the sea.
Yeah.
Because the first thing it says is like Sailor Man or Sailor something about oceans.
I couldn't even tell.
It's almost like Ocean Man, but he says something else.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's one of those cases of misheard lyrics.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it was definitely about the ocean at some point. He was talking about like the waves being choppy or something, or like something about that. It was definitely a nautical theme to the song, but like what the hell is that doing in this episode? What?
Well, see, it was Top Man singing because he was still in the fountain.
Maybe it must have been. I put in my notes. I said this ending is not fitting. Is this just a plug for somebody's band? Did someone owe someone a favor? Like, because it comes out of nowhere. It has nothing to do with Mega Man. It's out of place. It's just random, and it's not even music that's like played during the episode. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's weird, but the CD and cassette are available now.
I want to get my hands on that CD. I want to listen to the soundtrack, as weird as the soundtrack may be, just to see what the hell it's all about. And see how much or how little it has to do with Mega Man, because I have a feeling outside of one song, it probably has nothing to do with Mega Man.
Yeah, I'm gonna say very little.
Very little.
So why even call it the Mega Man soundtrack? This is what I'm saying.
Because it was technically on the show.
Someone owed someone a favor. That's how it got on the ending credits. That's how they got an album, because they needed like a deal. They're like, no one will publish my songs. What do I do? So he's like, here's what you do. You let us use your songs in the ending credits for our show, and then we'll make a Mega Man cartoon original soundtrack CD. And then your songs will be out there, and lots of kids will listen to it and go, huh?
Huh?
And the artist is just like, yes, if I can get someone to at least think about it, like, huh?
Huh? Yeah, that's what we're going for,
That's
man.
exactly what I was going for. It really makes you think, right? And this kid is just like, I want to find my parents. Like, man, asking me about your music.
All the songs were written by Cold Steel.
Nothing personnel, kid.
Cold Steel the Hedgehog.
Cold Steel the Hedgehog, or the band. I remember that episode now that you're mentioning it.
It's actually not a bad episode.
That's a
Go
cool
watch the-
name for a
go watch the
robot
review.
band, though, to be fair.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess that's it for this episode. I don't really remember much else aside from that really cool ending fight. But we already talked about it.
Yeah, there was that one cool ending fight. The anti-gravity machine looks interesting, but I don't really know why there's an anti-gravity projector on the bottom. I don't know what that's even for. Like, nothing about
That's
that makes
true.
sense.
That's pretty useless.
It could fire
Same.
beams out the side to like levitate Mega Man. That was kind of neat. But
Yeah.
why can it just lift things from the bottom? You know what? I'm getting back into the episode. We're trying to get out of the episode.
Also, you know what's also really useless?
Mhm.
A university for robots who said no. Oh, I cannot. I
can't figure any of that. Like, why didn't they just show like other robots learning things, like other robots maybe from previous episodes or something.
Yes. Or like maybe like a scuba diving robot was like, you know what? I want to be a construction worker.
Yeah.
And
or like humans learning about robots. Something.
That would have made sense. But Dr. Light literally just made a university and was like, you know what? I want to teach robots more stuff. So I'm going to build some robots and throw them into school.
Yeah, I can't just download the knowledge into them. You have to teach it to them, because that makes sense. Because they work just like people, don't they?
Yeah, you can't just put them on the table and put a chip inside and then you're done.
I mean, I've done that in the past, but that's not fun.
The whole thing about this school being made is just a big tax fraud scam.
Oh
like,
my god, are we uncovering
exactly
another... That makes so much... Dr. Light is running a for-profit scam school to get people to invest in teaching their... Here's the thing, I just figured it out. Dr. Light invented robots, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No one else knows how they work, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Light is getting people to pay tuition for their robots to learn new skills and information, and not telling them that he can just download it into their brain.
Oh my god.
The cost of building the college is minimal compared to the amount of profit he's going to be getting on college tuition and student loans from eager companies who want their robots to learn new skills, who don't know how they work. They don't know they can just download the information into their brains. So they send them to this university that's just a giant front. It's like those empty buildings in like North Korea that don't have anything in them to make it seem more prosperous than that's the university. What we got to see was the public tour. What you didn't get to see was how every other room in the building was completely empty. Light lays them down on the table.
Thomas, you've been shown.
He just downloads the data and then he counts his fat stacks of cash.
He waits like. He waits a whole semester and then downloads some data.
Yes.
Oh,
he's got to do it a little bit at a time. You got to keep coming back for paying more tuition.
Oh my god. Anyway, guys, watch this episode. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yes, it's
and it don't make no sense. And there's errors all up and down this thing.
It's not a great episode, but I wouldn't even call it a bad episode. This is one of those episodes that exemplifies what I think of when I think of Ruby Spears Mega Man.
Exactly.
And seeing so many other supporting characters like the Kung Fu Bot and the Tackle Bot and the Cheer Bot and the Artist Bot, even though he really only did like 2 things, whatever. It's just fun to see more characters. So I think it's worth a watch just to see that.
Yes.
And also to see one half of an aerial fight at the ending of the episode, since Mega Man's invisible for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun episode. A lot better with company and people to talk to about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks again, Twitch, for joining us on this one.
Of course, it's my pleasure. I love being here for these. So anytime I'm available, I'm more than happy to watch them.
Well, you're always welcome.
Aw, thank you guys.
And as always, guys, be sure to stay
Hydrated.
Cool.
Okay.
Stay cool, hydrated, out of trouble, and watch out for those Mavericks.
Yes. Stay cool, be on toppy, and don't ever do drugs. I don't know.
Be cool about fire safety.
Yes.
And class dismissed.
Class dismissed.